number of authors have written about the power of why. It's that core to what you do. Actors look for their motivation, you look for your why. And I trust your reflections on the last lesson have helped you. This is the Golden Circle. It's a leadership concept that Simon Sinek promotes. It's an elegant way to think about the power of why. The circle represents the why, the how, and the what. Now, conventional thinking moves from the outside in. Everyone knows what they do. Some people understand how they do it. But it takes insight and commitment to self-awareness to know why you do it. Now, breakthrough thinking moves from the inside out. It's powered by why. Sinek works with many top-notch organizations that have taken the wisdom of the Golden Circle to heart. They know their why is the force that connects them to their core support, that core of consumers that are loyal to the why. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Another core Sinek idea. Think of Apple Corporation. Apple's why is different from all the other companies that compete with them. Apple's why can be summed up in Steve Jobs' famous line, "Design is how it works, not how it looks." Apple builds cool products that they, as individuals themselves, like to use. Design is tight and minimalist. Apple products never win on specs, they win on the wow factor. Their why is to make their customers say, "Wow, that's so cool." And that why resonates. It makes customers feel special and unique. And those customers are willing to pay a premium for Apple's why. Apple's why lets them position themselves as the company of choice to high-end users. The Android market, led by Samsung, continues to bleed market share, but it bleeds off the low end. Samsung may sell more phones, but Apple still commands more than 90% of all the profits in the smartphone market. Apple's position at the high end remains unchallenged because there's a deeper generational core why orientation that speaks to its customers. What would you rather have, more customers or more profits? People don't buy what you do, but they buy why you do it. That holds true for Apple, and that certainly holds true for hiring managers. They're looking for people whose purpose in life aligns with the mission of their organization. Those are the people who work for more than money. They work hard out of passion. They are co-architects of the future. In English, we have a number of sayings to describe getting ahead in the world. One of them is the idea of finding your horse to ride. This idea is deeply rooted in the American psyche. The West was won on the back of the horse. Silicon Valley and Redmond, Washington wouldn't be part of today's reality if Americans had not ridden horses and built lives with horses. The horse was like the fire of Prometheus for Americans during the building of the country's first century. America would not be America without the horse. One of the reasons I love language is it carries a spirit of genius. Today we can say the horses were replaced by horsepower. In that simple example of language at work, the genius of language, the genius mirrors a transformation in the English culture. Development from the world of agriculture to that of industry to that of the world we have today. So deep in the American psyche is the idea that the way to succeed as an individual is to find a horse to ride. The idea has percolated deep in the American psyche over more than 100 years. You might say that the original Declaration of Independence was the collective discovery of a new horse to ride. In the late 20th century, the idea bubbled up in a new form, in the idea of positioning. The job seeker who thinks strategically sets out to find a horse to ride, metaphorically. The idea of positioning became prominent as a result of a book written by Al Rees and Jack Trout. The book revolutionized how people viewed marketing. The idea has become a core dynamic in today's world of social media. Before Rees and Trout introduced the positioning era, marketing was thought of as communication, just like you may think of interviewing as communication, communicating your qualifications, your skills, your competencies. And indeed, many traditional interviewing approaches revolve around this kind of communication. But the positioning era only foreshadowed today's era, an era where, in the world of capital, the world dominated by America, the idea of finding a horse to ride has given birth to the dynamic of crowdfunding. Many people say, yes, that's a good horse to ride, and that collectively has developed into an important source of capital at work. This is the reality in today's internet-connected world of business and commerce. We're all today deeply challenged to heed this wisdom. Successful brands like Apple are those that do. They found an open hole in the mind and then become the first to fill the hole with their unique why. I'm going to show you the classic Apple Macintosh ad during the 1984 Super Bowl. This is an iconic piece of marketing genius. Watch this and consider how Apple established its breakthrough why.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the Information Purification Directives. We have created, for the first time in all history, a garden of pure ideology, where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests of a contradictory thoughts. Our unification of thoughts is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people, with one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
Now ask, why Macintosh? Why buy Macintosh? Why choose Macintosh? How did Macintosh establish its position? Apple launched its identity in 1984, and they've remained true to their core mission of serving the spirit of individual power, the horse rider spirit. The why Apple established in 1984, 5 years before the Berlin Wall would come down, was to stand up against tyranny and oppression, to empower the individual to break through the tyranny of stale ideas, and make the way open for new, more powerful ones. That why continues to resonate with Apple enthusiasts. Apple has staked a unique place in the mind of the high end of the market. No other company has come close to shaking Apple's hold on this position. Positioning is thinking in reverse. Instead of starting with yourself, you start with the mind of the prospect, which in your case is the mind of the interviewer. Why do they want to make this hire? Instead of asking what you are, you ask what position is open in the mind of the interviewer, or what position you can open through your creative storytelling. You find a way into the mind of the interviewer using the strategies you've already learned in this course. Speaking the company's language, putting the hiring manager's needs first, and building rapport with the interviewer. The hardest part of positioning yourself is to narrow the focus of your expertise. You can't be all things to all people, so you have to find your horse to ride. You have to find your unique position. The job market today belongs to the people who can define and position themselves as specialists. The way you position yourself determines the direction you take, the people you meet, the connections you form, and ultimately the company you keep. Think of it this way. Just like smartphone customers, hiring managers don't buy. They choose. And you want them to choose you because you're the best fit, because you best occupy that open space in the hiring manager's mind. If you're thinking along here, though, you've realized you only start with the space in the hiring manager's mind. First, you have to understand that space, that open space, but you can also use your own positioning strategies to shape the space in the hiring manager's mind, to shape the thinking of the hiring manager so the open space in his or her mind comes to fit exactly what your unique talents can help fill. It's about finding your horse to ride in the Anglo-American job market. And you'll learn more about that in the next lesson.